They say that poor policies are byproducts of poor discussions. This is the reason why it is important for us to discuss before implementation. What is the principle behind the policy? What are its important mechanisms and features? How should it be implemented? Hello, everyone. It's good to be back. We're here at Let's Talk Policy, where we try to discuss policies and make the discussion hot and sexy, di ba? Para to make sure na a lot of people will not be allergic to discourse. We always believe that bad policies are byproducts of bad discourses, kaya dapat lahat tayo involved sa pagdidiscuss ng policy, no? And we're very lucky right now that we have my good friend ever since we were kids. Tandaan niyo, when we were still kids. Actually, he was still a kid. I was already grown up during that time. But we have here from We Solve Foundation and also from People's Budget Coalition. One of the co-conveners, we have Ken Abante. Thank you very much for coming to our humble office, Ken.
Thank you so much, Gino. It's great to be here and excited to discuss policy. I can't promise it'll be hot and sexy, but
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
We'll do our best.
It's gonna be a continuing learning. No? Well, I invited you because recently Cardinal Ambo came up with a statement, no, and specifically citing you, di ba? And the next generations who inspired him somewhat because you were discussing about the budget process. Sabi ko, kilala ko tong kaibigan ko to. So I wanted to get your thoughts and perspective because it's been a while. We were office mates during my first job as a lawyer, no, when back in the Department of Finance. Pero I haven't been able to get in touch when it comes to your current advocacy. So first things first, no, how did you get involved in this advocacy?
So nung nangyari yung pandemic at kakauwi ko lang nun from graduate school, yung
Harvard. Ako na nagsabi. Okay.
at I think yung isa sa mga pinaka masakit na naramdaman namin, yung mga kapamilya ko na frontliners, hindi nakakuha ng mga PPE, ng mga mask, ng mga gloves. Alam ko noon na napasa na yung unang Bayanihan Act, so yung unang COVID package. So, dapat may budget to. So, yung tanong namin noon, nung time na yun, bakit hindi nakakarating yung masks at PPEs dun sa mga frontliners na nag-aalaga sa atin? No, we say we have to take care of our essential workers, but why don't they feel that they're supported in the field? So, syempre, yung sunod na tanong doon, nasan yung budget? So we started building this
Malalano sa
tracker.
Bicol, 'di ba? Yung parang
Grabe
pati yung mga
Bicol.
plastic bag ng basura yun yung ginagawa nilang PPE. I recall because my wife is from Bicol and she was actually also soliciting PPEs during that time.
Right. Tapos yung una pang nakapagbigay ng mga PPEs nun was yung Office of the Vice President Paangat Buhay
OVP,
program.
yes. Na walang funds for it.
Oo. Pero for some reason, yun pa yung unang nakarating dun sa mga kapamilya kong healthcare workers. And so we started making this tracker. Very simple lang siya. Yung unang tanong ko lang nun, Facebook. Parang sabi ko, is there anyone making a tracker on COVID funds? Because this was what was happening. Wala pa. And a few hours later, meron ng first draft ng Google Sheet. Very simple lang siya. And then we started building the movement. Naging 60 volunteers kami, lawyers, data scientists, etc. We were tracking every aspect of the COVID-19 budget. Yung nangyari nun, nakita namin na kapag nagtulong-tulong yung mga tao in order to push for budgets that we deserve as people, kasi public services yun, then kaya pala nating masolusyonan yung mga problemang ito. So nabuo siya, lumaki yung movement, naging siyang People's Budget Coalition na. At yung People's Budget Coalition,
Composed of how many groups yung People's Budget?
nung time na yun, 10 civil society organizations. So mga agrarian reform, mga agriculture, farmers and fisher folk, mga nanay sa 4-piece program. So members namin sila. May members din ng business group, may labor union. So lahat kami
Multisectoral
Multisectoral talaga
and
siya.
of purely volunteer.
Oo.
Okay.
Kasi nung time na yun, parang kung maghihintay ka ng funding, di ba, parang hindi mo naman siya necessarily ma-achieve yung mga objectives na yun. Pero what we were discussing in 2021 was we need to shift the budget from 5 trillion yung budget nun we were seeing 1.2 trillion pesos of this budget should go to public services, social protection, health, education, etc. Ang nakuha lang namin doon by the end, mga 69 to 100 billion. No? Pero still, di ba? For people who coming from vulnerable sectors who have very little power, di ba? We were trying to band together to form this group that can brief legislators and can brief the government about what we really need. So nakita namin doon, kaya pala natin tong gawin. So we need to keep building this movement.
So your aim was 1.2
trillion.
pero ang allocate lang successfully based on your some sort
Based
of
on our
lobbying,
proposals.
or at least briefing is around 69.
Around 69 billion.
Okay.
Pero kasama doon,
Interesting. Pero yung 69 na yun, wala yun dati dun sa NEP. Ano ba yan? How does it work?
so kailangan, I think by then na we were commenting on that process. So dapat, in a working government system, yung amendments nanggaling talaga sa mga tao. What do our people really need? So that is to us amendments done right. 'Di ba? Hindi lang insertions na wala naman din sa mga plano. 'Di ba? So that's the thing that we wanted to distinguish.
Beautiful story, 'di ba? From the tragedy of a pandemic, you were able to come up with a movement because it's necessary, and at the same time it's sustained, it's still there, di ba? It's sustainable, nandiyan pa rin, di ba? And you were able to, you didn't know, di ba? You didn't know that you can make a dent in the national budget with the amount of 69 billion, di ba? Malaki yun, di ba? I don't even know how to spend that amount of money, di ba?
Pero yung interesting kasi doon sa proposals na yun, kasama doon yung unang bike lanes, so Metro Manila, Cebu, and Davao. Kasama yun doon. Kasama doon yung mga service contracts. Kasi kasama namin yung Transport Workers Unions eh. Nung time na yun na hindi pa nabababa yung pera ng gobyerno sa kanila, sila yung mismo yung nag-aabono doon sa mga members nila para lang makasurvive yung mga transport workers. So kung naalala mo, Dino, yung mga transport workers na may mga kariton at nagsasabing, tulungan niyo po kami. Kasi sinuspend ng gobyerno yung public transport nung time na yun. So yun yung pinupush nila. Dapat magkaroon ng maayos na investment sa transport workers para tumaas yung transport supply. Yung mga healthcare workers, kasi naalala ko noon may isang healthcare worker na nagbabike papuntang ospital kasi nga suspended yung public transport. Tapos nabangga siya ng truck. So yung sinasabi ng healthcare workers during that time, kailangan may maayos na bike lane para makapunta yung healthcare workers and essential workers dun sa mga ospital kung saan nila tayo alagaan. So alagaan natin yung nag-aalaga sa atin. So yun, 500 kilometers of pop-up bike lanes yung na-construct. And now it's still ongoing, no? Naman yan eh, it's a very long struggle of making sure that our taxpayer money is spent well. No? So we're very plugged into the process, and we want to make sure that the money is spent correctly.
Okay, siguro for the benefit of our viewers, no, for our listeners as well, you've been involved in the budget process for a while now, no? So can you please educate us, like in a quick way, how does the budget process work? Diba nagsisimula yan after the SONA, if I'm not mistaken, the president will propose his budget, which is contained in the National Expenditure Program. And then thereafter, sige, go on, just to educate our viewers and listeners so that later we can, as I know that this is your advocacy, we can put in the suggestions on how to improve it. Para makita mo nila yung bird's eye view kung ano ba yung proseso, and then later pwede nating himayin kung paano natin improve yung budget process.
Ayos yan. So may 4 na stages yung budget cycle. At actually, whole year process siya. Nag-start siya as early as January. So, yung una, budget preparation. Yung second, budget authorization or legislation. Yung pangatlo, budget execution. And pang-4, budget accountability.
Okay.
So, ulitin ko Preparation, paghahanda.
Okay.
Pangalawa, authorization or legislation, pagsasabatas. Yung pangatlo, budget execution or yung mismong implementasyon ng programa. And yung fourth, yung budget accountability o yung pananagutan.
Okay.
So, yun yung 4.
Nagsunod sa ko kasi natututo rin ako dito. Okay.
Buong year yan na proseso. At yung pinakamahalaga dito sa proseso na to, ay dapat yung tao yung sentro. No? Dapat yung Pilipino yung sentro ng process na to. And citizens have the right and responsibility to be engaged in every step of this budget process. And to me, the fundamental reason for why the flood control situation happened, the flood control scandal happened, is because hindi hindi siya science-based, hindi siya naka-base sa mga tunay na hinaing ng mga tao.
Mhm.
Hindi na-include yung mga taong dapat ma-include dun sa proseso na yun. And we can go into each of these steps. Ano yung mga pagkukulang dun sa proseso at paano natin to masosolusyonan. Very clear naman kung ano yung dapat gawin. And we already know a lot coming from the testimonies, from the investigations, from the fact-finding, and from the studies that we've made.
So I take a concrete example niyan, 'di ba, yung dun sa flood control project. Supposedly meron tayong national plan,
Yes.
'di ba? So ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong national plan, pinag-isipan na nila based on dun sa, let's say for example, data and Project NOAA, makikita mo saan ba yung pinaka-vulnerable na pagbabaha? Saan ba pinaka-kailangan yung mga flood control projects? Anong klaseng flood control projects ang kailangan? Pero nangyari, in the budget process, hindi na-allocated yung mga kailangan nito based on science and data, bagkus kung sino yung connection, di ba? Kung sino yung saan nila makukuha yung pera, di ba? So ibig sabihin, yung pag-allocate ng mga flood control projects, a lot of them goes na nga, but hindi talaga yun yung pinaka-nangangailangan na lugar.
Tama.
Kasi it's not science-based. So,
Correct.
ang problema na yon is on preparation.
Preparation pa lang. So siguro I'll give you the big numbers, okay? So we have 18 major river basin master plans, no? Na dapat yun yung scientific basis na kung anong type ng project ang dapat i-implement sa isang set of local government units, no? Yung sobrang heartbreaking dito, Dino, ang sinasabi ni dating Secretary Babe Singson, it would just have cost the government 800 to 900 billion pesos to implement all of these 18 major river basin master plans.
What? Okay, 800 to 900 billion. Okay.
But what was allocated over the past decade to flood control projects of the DPWH was 1.7 trillion pesos.
1.7
Meaning if it were just done right, dapat hindi na nagkaroon ng ganong trahedya sa Cebu.
Okay, so do we know where those master plans are?
So, actually, meron namang mga nakapublish dyan. So, halimbawa, kapag sinearch ko, nakita ko na yung Bicol River Basin Master Plan, for example. Pero yung pinaka-importanting reforma sa budget preparation o sa paghahanda ng budget ay dapat science-based siya, nature-based siya, at multisectoral yung planning process.
Okay.
So, anong gustong sabihin na nature-based siya? Yung nature-based, dapat nauuna yung solusyong pangkalikasan kaysa sa solusyong semento. No? At sinasabi nga ng ibang mga scientists dyan na mas kailangang i-favor yung watershed protection para hindi kalbuhin yung mga bundok. Kailangan ayusin yung riverside. No? Kailangan lagyan ng mga puno dyan. Ayusin yung easement. Gusto sabihin yung espasyo between the riverbank and kasi minsan talagang bumabaha dyan sa mga area na yan.
Right.
Tapos, yung problema sa DPWH budget ngayon, puro semento. So, in fact, the people who study the water scientists, the hydrologists we've consulted here, kapag pinipave mo raw yung riverbanks,
Yeah.
Which is
usually yung ginagawa.
which is usually what happens, di ba? Bumibilis daw yung daloy ng tubig and it becomes more destructive to communities downstream.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, so in fact, the entire mix of the infrastructure plan, according to yung tawag nila sa scientific principle nito ay integrated water resource management and nature-based flood management. Hindi flood control because you can't control the flow of water. You have to work with the natural and existing waterways. Ang ginagawa ngayon, and you see this mistake in many cities, they pave over the esteros, they pave over the canal. Here, di ba, may proposal din na lagyan ng expressway sa taas ng Pasig River, yung San Miguel. Diba? All of these have been proven to really worsen the risk and vulnerability of hazards such as typhoons and flooding. No, so
hindi siya nature-based.
Hindi siya
Puro siya
nature-based.
solusyong semento.
Correct.
Pero di ba, Ken, you would think, going back to the budget process, that all of these things are taken into consideration when the president submits his budget. In other words, the budget does not come from out of nowhere, di ba? Pinag-aralan, sabihin ng presidente ng Pilipinas through the executive branch of government ng mga departments, sana nag-uusap sila. Ibig sabihin, si DPWH dapat nakikipag-usap sa DOST, nakikipag-usap sa DNR kung paano i-implement yung project. There's a feasibility study and dapat based siya on science already from the moment that the budget is being proposed.
Exactly.
Diba?
Oo.
Pero mukhang hindi ganun yung nangyari.
Nawala yung controls, no? Nawala yung controls at hindi rin kasi kasama yung multisectoral. Ito yung parang the other important reform in budget preparation. That dapat multisectoral yung approval. Kasi you can have scientists who really study this and experts. Pero expertise is not just limited to professionals.
Mhm.
The expertise
Community.
is embedded in communities
Okay.
who live by the rivers and experience the rivers, experience the flooding, and so they must be in the process.
I
No,
see.
so
Pero when in the process, Ken, if you will be about to suggest, kasi diba the way the project, the budget works, pag propose ng National Executive, ng National Expenditure Program from the Executive, supposedly based yan doon sa science and data na galing sa gobyerno, pero the gobyerno doesn't have monopoly of knowledge.
exactly.
Doon ba sa legislative through the consultation?
Preparation pa lang.
Preparation pa lang.
Executive proposal pa lang dapat nandiyan na yan.
Okay.
Bago pa yan ma-approve ng Department of Budget and Management at siyang tinatawag nating National Expenditure Program or the President's Budget.
I see.
Dapat naka-ano na yun. It's already in the rules. That's how it's supposed to work. Yung problema nga, and the reason why I emphasize the word multisectoral, kasi may process within the agency itself na dapat nagko-consult sila ng mga people's organizations.
Correct. Oo nga naman, nandiyan yan.
Yeah,
oo.
it's in one of the budget preparation forms that they submit to the DBM. So they can do it in that process. They can also do it in what we call the technical budget hearings.
I've never been consulted. Have you been consulted?
Yes, because we demand. that
No,
we
without
be
demanding.
consulted.
Meron bang product prompt sa'yo na, or di ba dapat usual yan? Kasi every year, nagkakaroon ng budget process. Every year.
Right,
Every
right,
year,
right.
magpapas ka ng national law. Every year, gagawa ng national expenditure program. You would think, di ba, the one of us will be invited from time to time saying, tsaka dami niyan eh. Lahat ng programa dapat kinokonsult
Lahat ng ahensya, dapat
Lahat ng
na-
ahensya, di ba? Parang hindi pa ako na-invite ng kahit isang department. I would think, di ba,
There
na
were-
may imbitahan tayo.
There were attempts, I think, kaya siya naging part ng rule, kaya siya naging annex na. Kasi during, when we were in government, that was one of the key reforms of then Secretary Butch Abad na magkaroon ng people's participation dun sa proseso. Kaya siya may annex na form. Kasi yun talaga yung na-envision nung time na yun. Kaya lang parang nag-win yung ganong klaseng pagkokonsulta sa mga tao na dapat ibalik. Na nakita na natin yung consequence ng hindi pag-include ng mga tao dun sa proseso.
Okay. And then, ibig sabihin, kung ma-include yung tao sa proseso, hindi ba dapat meron ng proposed program, tapos titignan na lang ng tao yung program, or hindi? Parang, by that time, kung ako lang kunyari, for example, let's say, for example, where you are the secretary of a department, di ba dapat may programa ka na, papublish mo na yon, tapos sabihin mo, we will set a consultation on these, para napag-aralan na rin ng tao, alam na nila kung ano yung pinpoint. Okay.
So dapat bago pa yan mas ma-approve ng DBM, dapat nandun yan. Pero yung isa sa mga important din na reforma ay buksan yung tinatawag nating technical budget hearing.
I see.
Kasi minsan halimbawa sa Department of Transportation may mga proposals yung Move as One Coalition, isang public transport group ng mga mas marami pang active transport program. Sinabi na ng Pangulo na priority niya yon. It's a declared policy statement. It's in the National Transport Policy. It's in the Philippine Development Plan. The President himself has said this is the end of car-centric development. Pero yung budget ngayon ng active transport, near zero.
Hindi
Right?
nagtatranslate, no?
But ito yung thing dino. So, the Department of Transportation requested, I think, 2 billion this year.
Okay.
Pero yung na-approve ng DBM, ang liit lang. So that process has to be more transparent. Bakit cannot yung declared presidential priority? 'Di ba? Hindi namin alam
Pero
kung
approved
bakit.
by Congress na yan.
Hindi pa.
Hindi pa.
Nasa Senate Committee.
Nasa Senate Committee pa lang.
Oo,
Okay.
nasa Senate Committee tayo ngayon. Ay, nagpa-plenary debates na pala ngayon.
How do you make sure, Ken, na the consultation process will not just be tokenistic,
Oo.
will not just be, alam mo, cursory, will not just be about compliance to fill out the form required. Di ba? Kasi ganun yung usually nangyayari, di ba? Para lang makapag-comply. Kasi, tanda natin, we've been a part somewhat of the budget process when we were in government, when we were in the Department of Finance. Ano yan intense yan, tsaka busy. Busy ka talaga, di ba? Sobrang busy mo talaga.
Alas 2 ng umaga ka.
So, ibig sabihin, pag sa'yo, papasok mo na lang yan para makakomply na tayo, para maipasa sa Kongreso, para magawa yung National Expenditure Program. What do you think should be done to make sure na hindi siya cursory, hindi siya tokenistic, hindi siya para mere compliance lamang?
Oo. So, yan yung it takes two to tango. No? Kailangan palakasin natin yung movements, kailangan i-empower natin yung mga communities to demand that space. Para klaro sa atin na kapag papasok tayo doon, yung i-demand natin ay to be treated as equals. And hindi lang maging tokenistic yung participation. And that takes quite a bit of time. It takes trust building. It takes the boring everyday act of showing up, which is what democracy is supposed to be about. Diba? It takes a lot of study, a lot of research para pagpunta mo dyan sa room, you actually have something substantial to say. So that's from the civil society side, no. So trabaho natin 'yun. And that's what we're trying to build with the People's Budget Coalition, no. Actually yung kagandahan naman sa movements ay alam exactly ng civil society kung ano yung kailangan nila. What they need help with is translating what they say in terms of stories into a form that bureaucrats will understand. No? Yun yung tawid na kailangan. And that's what the People's Budget Coalition is trying to do. No? We are trying to help communities translate the needs on the ground to an actual budget preparation form.
Okay.
Para kapag pinasa sa Department of Budget and Management or sa ahensya, klaro na yun. So yun yung very, very important. On the other hand, government has to not only give the space, but also to disclose the information that will allow for these better debates to happen. An example dyan ay halimbawa sa Department of Education. No? For a very long time, and this is one of the reasons why that we document in one of our research sa Congressional Commission on Education, sa EDCOM, na sinubmit namin, sa Department of Education, matagal na at dekada nang hindi nilalabas yung learning outcomes data.
Right.
So, how can you build a strong movement around improving learning outcomes if we don't know how bad the learning crisis really is?
Yeah.
No?
Walang diagnosis ng problem, walang current walang current data showing what should be solved. No.
And I think EDCOM 2 has done a really good job bringing people together in order to diagnose the problem. Pero yung sinasabi namin, isa sa mga systematikong dahilan ng kung bakit naging ganito yung learning crisis natin kasi wala tayong maayos na feedback mechanism at reporting coming from the Department of Education. They conduct so many tests. The NAT, the National Assessment Test, they conduct the CARLA, the Comprehensive Rapid Literacy Assessment. They conduct all these sorts of things pero hindi siya nakikita nung mayor. Hindi siya nakikita ng local chief executive. Hindi siya nakikita.
Nakikita supposedly nila. Visible
nasa
dapat.
Nasa DepEd yung datos. Pero for a long time, it was kept private.
Yeah.
Yung sobrang importante.
Internal to them, parang gano'n.
Yung sobrang importante dito, Dino, yung tinatawag sa Freedom of Information Movement na proactive disclosure. Kung sabihin, the gold standard of the Freedom of Information Movement is if citizens no longer need to request the data from government releases it because government is accountable to the people.
And it benefits them para they know what to solve.
Exactly.
They don't have monopoly over what should be the solution, what are the potential things that might work.
Yung kagandahan Dino. So we've been advocating for this for quite a few years. We have another coalition called the Evidence for Education Coalition. Yung goal niya ay support the Department of Education in releasing those datasets. Last month, we were able to release it. So every school, you will see on the DepEd website, ano yung student-teacher ratio nila, ilan yung classroom backlog nila. In 5 regions, we've been able to disclose all of the learning outcomes data, most of the learning outcomes data in 5 regions. So in all of the schools of these 5 regions. And hopefully, mas marami pa yung mailabas. No? Yung kagandahan naman dito sa proseso, nakita ko na may kaya pala siyang masolusyonan. Kasi whenever we show it to a local chief executive or a planner, na nagugulat sila lower than regional average or lower than national average yung scores nila, they're jolted into action.
Mhm.
So the decision makers, minsan, yung ano nila, parang kapag sinabi kasi ng learning crisis, parang abstract national. Pero kapag pinakita mo, itong eskwelahan sa mismong jurisdiction mo, mababa yung numeracy score. Or may stunting, or wasting ng mga bata, kaya hindi sila makapag-aral ng maayos. Undernourished sila. They'll act on it. So,
And pwede may mga interventions na not necessarily just coming from the DepEd.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But you need that research ecosystem, you need that information ecosystem para pagpasok ng mga mamamayan doon sa proseso. Again, hindi siya tokenistic. Tapos hindi rin mapanghihinaan ng loob ng gobyerno. Parang kapag nag-invite sila, sabihin nila, hindi naman masyadong maganda yung comments. Yung gusto ko sabihin sa gobyerno kapag may ganyan ako na nare-receive na comment, tulungan nyo rin naman kasi kami.
Oo, correct.
Diba? We're trying our best at volunteers, karamihan ng mga grupo na to.
Tsaka mahirap yung gano'n na sila yung nagde-decide kung maganda yung sinasabi o hindi. You listen nonetheless.
Yeah,
Di ba? Kasi
exactly.
kung gano'n, di ba? Parang mayroon ka bang monopoly ng ano yung maganda, ano yung
Exactly.
hindi, di ba?
Exactly.
So just going back to sa budget preparation pa lang, what I'm getting is, dapat may participation dun sa technical budget preparation, tama? Number two, right from the very start, while they're preparing the budget, merong proactive disclosure already coming from the government to create that data ecosystem. And number three, the moment na nagkaroon ng consultation, genuine dapat yung consultation and ma-incorporate talaga genuinely yung suggestions prior to the finalization of the National Expenditure Program. At least that's doon pa lang sa preparation.
Correct.
The next stage na sinasabi mo kanina is legislation na, tama ba?
Pagsasabatas na.
Sige. So sa batas, what is the process there?
Ah,
Sana makat natin na maayos to na concise, di ba? We will find a way. Okay. Kasi I'm learning a lot. Yeah.
So sa pagsasabatas naman, 'di ba, may dalawang houses of Congress kasi. So may Kamara, the House of Representatives and the Senate. So they pass a version of the budget. So
Each one of them.
Sa House.
Sa House muna.
Start sa House. At yung budget kasi ay batas yan. So it's a law that's passed by Congress. So the House creates a version, the Senate creates a version, may mga first reading, second reading, third reading each. And then they reconcile their versions in what they call the Bicameral Conference Committee or the BICAM.
Dahil batas yan, di ba? Just to, di ba kasi ang envision ng constitution natin, siguro on the legal side lang, para rin malinaw doon sa mga nanonood. Kaya yung dalawa, House and Senate. Yung Senate, binoboto nyo po yan at large, nationally. So dapat ang pinangangalagaan yan, national interest. Yung sa House, district yan or sectoral. Ibig sabihin na pinangangalagaan yan dapat interest, sectoral and district. No? In other words, sometimes hindi kasi consistent yung national interest with district interest. Kaya dapat mag-meet sila together halfway to reconcile. So yan yung theoretical justification on why we have a bicameral committee. Pero doon pa lang sa pag-read three readings yan, sabi mo kanina, di ba? Tama, di ba? May magpe-present na senador or house na sponsor. Let's say, for example, DPWH. I-sponsor yan ng isang house member. Ibig sabihin ng sponsor, i-defend niya sa plenary kasama yung buong DPWH. Tama? Pwede siyang i-interpolate doon. Ng lahat ng members. So, ibig sabihin, in theory at least, dapat lahat ng miyembro ng Kongreso, both Senate and the House, nakita yung budget.
Tama.
At pinag-aralan nila.
That's the most important law they pass every year.
Every
It's
year.
the national budget.
Kasi power of the purse.
Yes. 6.7 trillion pesos. 6.7 million pesos.
Million pesos. Grabe,
Ganyan karami.
Okay.
Karami. So in fact, yung sinasabi ko nga, marami nagsasabi the Philippines is a poor nation. No, the Philippines is a rich nation, just plundered.
Just plundered. Sobra. 6.7
Trillion.
no?
Kasi
1.7 sabi mo kanina. Napunta na sa flood control eh.
Gusto kong ipakita. Every year yun 6.7
Every year,
trillion. Tumataas yun every year. Kapag ano ba tawag dito? Kapag kinonect mo yung lahat ng 1,000 peso bills, mula dito hanggang sa buwan makakarating yan. At pabalik.
At pabalik. Yung 6.7 trillion.
Almost.
Oh, grabe.
6.7
I like that description, no?
Napakarami niyang pera. At gusto kong sabihin, in many LGUs, minsan nga hindi umaabot ng 1 billion ang pera. So the way that we kind of share this sense of proportion to people. Minsan kasi yung mga people's organizations and civil society organizations, they're happy with just 500,000 or 1 million.
Kasi
for
yun lang
their
yung
project.
imagine natin eh.
Yun nga.
Oo eh.
So isa sa mga, kapag nagtuturo kami sa mga community at sa mga nanay at tatay sa ground, yung isa sa mga tinuturo namin ay percentage. No, ilang porsyento po ba yung 1 billion, sasabihin na nating 1 trillion na national budget, it's less than 1%. Diba? So, kung 1 billion yung budget ng gobyerno at 1 million lang yung hingin mo, that's less than 1% of the budget. So, gustong sabihin, you can ask for more. You can demand more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very life-changing sense of proportion to have.
Yeah.
No? No, we can't imagine the 6.7 trillion kasi nga ang laki-laki niya. But the Philippines is actually a very rich country.
Oh, yeah. Ang dami mong pwedeng gawin dyan
Meaning,
sa 6.7 trillion.
Oo, marami kang pwedeng magawa.
Oo. So going back to sa legislation, pagka sa legislation, so meron na, nag-debates na, di ba? What are the things that must be done there to make sure that at least police yung executive sa NEP? Kasi sa ating ideal world, sa National Expenditure Program pa lang, okay na.
Oo.
Pero, syempre, hindi naman yan perfect.
Correct.
So, again, iba rin yung role ng legislature, di ba? To make sure na, sinasabi kasi na ba't ka nag-insert? Hindi naman pwede, di ba, trabaho nga power of the purse. Hindi naman pwede, kung akong congressman, nakita ko doon sa pinopose ng executive, walang budget for a park in my location, for example. Yung sasabihin ko, bakit ba pwede nyo lagyan yung park dyan? And nakikinabang dyan yung mga tao, yung mga constituents ko. So, actually, justifiable na trabaho nila magsabi na dagdagan yung budget na ito o bawasan yung budget na to. Tama? So, hindi necessarily masama na nag-a-advocate sila kasi trabaho nila yun.
Trabaho nila actually mag-amend at mag-insert sa budget or mag-delete sa budget.
Okay. So, yung sinasabi nila na budget insertion, di ba? Naturally kasi parang naging evil na eh. Kung ganon, masama yun for me na vilify natin yung insertion or amendment, whatever nomenclature you wanna use. Kasi sinasabi na nag-amend daw si Risa, insertion na raw yun. Di ba? Di ba? Yung insertion kasi doon sa bicameral, supposedly, na hindi nakita ng plenaryo. Tama? Pero ito sa amendment, trabaho nila talaga yung amendment in theory. Otherwise, we leave it up to the executive naman to discuss the budget at sobrang powerful niya na parang wala na problema, wala na yung Kongreso. So how do you balance that? What do you think?
So the thing, so yung naging major issue sa flood control scandal, kaya ganito siya kalaki, no? Kasi nagkaroon ng abusive practice of secret congressional insertions. Secret congressional insertions, lalo na sa bicameral conference committee.
So ibig sabihin, wala sa NEP. Nung ginagawa ng executive, National Expenditure Program, tandaan niyo po ulit ginawa ng eksekutibo, ibig sabihin consultation sila dyan. In theory, sila yung may alam kung anong kailangan ng Pilipinas kasi sila naman mag-execute, sila yung nasa on the ground, sila yung frontline service, yung executive, ginawa nila yung budget, pinasa nila sa Kongreso, wala sa plenaryo. Wala. Correct. Wala sa debates. Diba sabi ko sa inyo kanina, may first reading, second reading, third reading. Wala lahat yon sa plenaryo. Para lang makita ninyo kung bakit siya masama. Kaya tinatawag siyang secret. Saan nangyari?
Sa BICAM. Tapos yung Bicameral Conference Committee.
Ano yung Bicameral Conference Committee? Diba sabi nyo kanina, House and Senate, kailangan i-reconcile yung version nila, gagawa yan ng maliit na committee lang. Tama? Hindi plenaryo. So, body of around 24? Tama ba? 12 yata
Parang ganun. Minsan, hindi ko na nga alam kung ilan talaga yung real count. Kasi hindi ko alam kung sino talaga yung nagmi-meet doon. Pero anyway.
Kaya nga secret. Kasi nga hindi nga rin open yung minutes. Tama? Wala yung civil society doon. Hindi mo alam kung ano nangyari. Hindi mo alam kung sino nagsasalita. Hindi mo alam exactly kung sino nag-insert noong budget item na yun.
Tapos ito yung mas nakakabahala dito. Kasi yung in-insert nila, wala doon sa River Basin Master Plans.
Correct. Wala lahat doon sa mga master plan.
Hindi siya maayos na naplano, 'di ba? So, ang daming pwedeng gawin for people's consultations ng executive. Pero kung lalagay mo yan last minute at walang debate, 'di ba? Kaya nagkaganito yung pag-increase. So I'll I'll share with you some numbers about the flood control insertions. So yung DPWH insertions lang to the past I think the figure is 2018 to 2025. Yung gross insertions to one of the line items of DPWH called Convergence and Special Support Programs na kung saan nilagay nila yung maraming flood control insertions.
Convergence and Special Support Program. Okay.
Ay 828 billion pesos.
Wow. Okay.
828 billion pesos.
Pero hindi nakalagay doon na pang flood control siya kasi convergence.
Merong iba nilagay flood control. May iba pa. Kaya sinasabi namin actually, the flood control scandal is just the tip of the iceberg. That is an even bigger beast. So road and bridges, yung mga cat's eye na mga rock netting, yung mga lamp posts.
Nawala lahat. Marami dyan wala sa
Oo. So yung flood control, isa pa lang yan. Pero
sa master plan.
It's a symptom of a much larger issue that people in Congress can just insert things without it being aligned with the national plan.
In the bicameral conference committee.
In the bicameral
Pero
conference
in theory,
committee.
tinan mo so pagkatapos sa bicameral conference committee, tama ba ang understanding natin para at least maintindihan rin ng mga nakikinig sa atin, nanonood? After that, di ba it goes back to the plenary?
Yes.
For final approval before it becomes a law.
Oo. And yung pinaka-accountable officers in both House and the Senate are si House, meron silang tinatawag na House Committee on Appropriations.
Yes.
And the
Senate, ko yan dati.
Yes.
Diba?
And then sa Senate Committee on Finance. Okay. Tapos,
Si Grace po yan.
Oo.
At least for the 2024 budget.
right.
Okay.
Oo. Tapos, nilalagay, yun nga, nire-reconcile at binobotohan naman siya ng plenary ng bawat
2025
House.
budget na pinag-usapan ng 2024. So kaya so ibig sabihin, pagdating doon, pagkatapos ng bicameral, is there time for debate again in the House o botohan na yan? Botohan na yata. No?
Mostly botohan na yan.
Botohan na yan in the plenary which is a final reading na.
Right.
Kasi doon, mag-yes or no ka na lang. Okay. Sige. And then, so ibig sabihin, what is the solution to that? Dapat open daw ang BICAM.
Okay, so
Tama?
dapat buksan yung BICAM, dapat alam natin kung sino nag-i-insert, nagde-delete. Tapos meron kaming isang sinasabi na very important na hopefully magawa this year, which is called the Open Budget Transparency Server. So isipin mo, 'di ba, kapag election, on the day of the elections, may kita mo ilan na bang boto dito sa barangay ko or dito sa syudad ko or dito sa probinsya ko. Ideally in the budget ganun 'yun. But yung nangyayari ngayon, imagine mo yung budget kasi 1,000 more than 1,000 page document
Correct.
yan.
Oo.
There are maybe 7 or 8 versions of that budget as it evolves, no, from the executive until it becomes law. We budget monitors have to re-encode all these line items. 1,000 pages, ha? So, nauubusan kami ng oras at nauubusan kami ng bait at nauubusan kami ng buhok.
Tapos volunteer pa.
Tapos volunteer pa ang karamihan sa
Yun
budget
naman yung siguro yung goal.
Pero yung sinasabi namin, the House and the Senate already have versions of these files called machine-readable files na pwede nilang ibigay sa amin para maging automated naman yung process. Kasi kaya na siya with current technology.
Oo nga, oo.
Yung kagandahan, si Senator Win is actually very supportive. So
kayo hindi
he's
pa kayo binibigyan. Ano binibigay
Hindi
sa
pa.
inyo? PDF?
Yung PDF. Yung PDF ng committee
Hindi siya
report.
machine readable
Oo.
para makita ninyo. Madali sana i-encode, madali i-review, di ba?
Tama.
Madali ka maglagay ng annotation.
Tama. Tapos may kita siya in a way na parang isipin mo, naka-intimidate kasi yung budget. Isipin mo kung meron tayong isang website na kasing dali ng pag-browse ng Facebook
Right.
on the budget.
Kasi experience is one
And we
thing.
have-
Para i-review mo, kailangan yung experience of reviewing it hindi masama. Di ba?
Tama. And we have
Sorry.
we have a pilot of this already called the 2026-budget.bettergov.ph. Meaning we already have
When you say we, who created this?
this is a community of angry nerds.
Okay.
Na galit sa flood control scandal, and these are the best software engineers in the world.
Okay.
May taga London, may taga Netherlands, and we are now 3,000 plus volunteers.
Wow. And who's
We've done-
funding it? Kayo rin.
Volunteer work. It all 3,000 pesos just to run the site. Just for the server.
For
of
the
site.
server. Pero sana
3,000 pesos.
sana ma-sustain. Kasi ang takot ko is, pagka hindi na, anger sometimes,
Right.
di ba, it will pass. So sana lang ma-fuel and magkaroon ng movement, di ba? Which is what you're doing
Which is
right
what
now.
we're trying to
Okay.
sustain.
Oo.
Kaya importante yung yung support to these types of movements. So we've done the budget tracker, we've done a Salen tracker, we've done a dynasty tracker, we've done a politicon contractors tracker for relationships between the contractors and the politicians.
So you gotta
We've
guess
done
again in this podcast and let's discuss each tracker. Each tracker. Sorry. Let's discuss again.
Oo,
each
maraming
tracker.
pwedeng gawin, no? Pero ito yung kagandahan Dino. Dahil sobrang tutok natin sa legislation process ngayon. Kasi nga secret insertions in the BICAM yung naging main vulnerability the past few years eh. We were able to tag 260 billion pesos na line of pork, no? In the House version of the budget. In-increase nila from the NEP, no?
This
So
is for
we were
this is
very
for this
unhappy.
year or 2024?
This year for the 2026.
There was an increase of 260 billion
No, there were 260 billion pesos worth
worth
of
of
pork.
pork. Hindi
No.
pa ito isang program
Sa
funds.
house. Hindi pa dyan kasama yung unprogrammed. Okay, so 260 billion. Tapos, dahil maingay tayo and the movement is very strong, we were able to cut it down in the Senate Committee report to 110 billion.
Wow.
So, 150
That's just
billion.
because of people's participation. Now that we're angry.
Now that we're angry, we're engaged, we are monitoring this very intently with the church, people in conscientious business,
But can
the
you just
unions.
imagine kung hindi lang tayo mag-rely on anger if there's a system,
Right.
and a system and an ecosystem that would be created to make sure that this is an annual exercise, not relying on people's anger and not a reactive exercise that we have, di ba? So dapat talaga yung sustainability ako
Dapat
worth it,
i-sustain.
Oo, kasi otherwise, di ba, i-out, ano lang nila tayo eh, i-out, tawag dyan, yung pagdating sa marathon, di ba? I-outrun lang na tayo, outpace lang na tayo, and then out-endure. Mas grabe endurance sila eh. Tayo kasi, we have our own private lives, we have to work, we have to do a lot of other things.
Oo.
So we cannot rely on sheer volunteerism alone.
Tama,
So I
tama.
was hoping
We need to build that ecosystem.
ecosystem no, na paulit-ulit ay na pwedeng mangyari paulit-ulit nang hindi nagre-rely on mere volunteerism. O sige, so ando na tayo sa legislation. Okay, do you wanna go to the execution na or do you wanna discuss something else?
May mga iba pa akong gustong i-discuss dito.
Sige.
Kasi may mga risky line items din kaming tiningnan sa infrastructure. So infrastructure is around 677 billion. So you're already, the movement is already able to remove a lot of the flood control projects. Yun yung mga 200 plus billion. Wala na yun sa
Hindi
House
nilagay
version.
sa program funds? Di ba may mga nilagay raw sa program funds?
Mamaya, i-discuss ko yung unprogrammed funds.
Mamaya discuss natin kung ano yung program funds and the unprogrammed funds.
Sige.
Kasi tama ba na peculiar tong unprogrammed funds in the Philippine context?
Yes.
Sa ibang bansa daw wala yung, there's no
Wala,
such thing as a
wala.
concept of an unprogrammed fund.
Oo.
Okay, sige,
So,
later
ano y-
tayo. Okay.
So, gusto mo na bang
Sige na,
i-discuss?
sige. Okay, go.
So, ano ba yung programmed at ano yung unprogrammed appropriation? Yung unprogrammed appropriation, ito yung pondo, ito yung budget line item na kailangan mo pa ng extra na revenue o kita mula sa pamahalaan. Dapat makalampas ng target para mapunan yung budget na yun. No?
Pero di
Meaning-
ba, tama ba? Naka-ano ba yun? Yung listahan ba na yun? Naka-prioritization list? O para siyang pork na depending on the whim of the
So,
executive?
ito nga yung nangyari. So, sobrang lumobo yung unprogrammed appropriation. Doon nila nilagay yung ibang mga flood control items.
Correct. Di ba?
So, yung inalis nila sa PhilHealth na 60 billion, ay actually lampas yata, more than 60 billion. Yung inalis nila sa Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation na dapat nagsisecure sa lahat ng deposits natin. Nilagay din nila doon.
Nilagay na sa to fund.
To fund some
just to
of the
explain
unprogrammed
ha,
appropriation.
tama ba itindi ko, Ken? So, yung program funds, kaya nila kaya i-justify yan kasi merong projection ng Department of Finance, ng economic team, ng kikitain natin bilang isang bansa
Tama.
sa susunod na taon.
Tama.
Ibig sabihin, kung gagawa ka ng budget, hindi pwedeng lampas doon.
Tama.
So ngayon, kung sakasakali nagawa na yung budget, meron pa silang mga gustong programa na gusto supposedly in theory i-fund, ilalagay nila sa program funds. Tapos gagawa ang pamalaan para masurpass yung target para ma-justify nila yung sa program funds. So nangyari, yung PhilHealth funds tsaka yung PDIC funds ng the government, in order silang i-remit sa national government yung reserve funds nila, and then all of a sudden, meron tayo sobrang pera.
Oo.
Pwede natin ngayong i-implement yung unprogram funds.
Bond
Tama
money.
bang itindi ko?
Tama.
Yan.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly
So,
right.
pagdating doon sa unprogram funds, how does it work? Kunyari, sa NEP, sa NEP tsaka doon sa batas, 'di ba? Yung budget natin, yung National Budget Law. Nakalagay ba doon ano ipa-prioritize or depende na siya sa executive.
So, yun nga yung kailangan nating ma-confirm. Kasi bakit yung ibang line item dun sa unprogrammed appropriation na pondohan, yung iba hindi? Diba? So, who made that decision to fund which infrastructure
I would
item?
suppose it's the Office of the President, it's the Department of Budget and Management.
Yun.
Yun, nila magre-release
So, kailangan magkaroon ng investigation as to who. Kasi minsan, nung chinek kasi namin yung unprogrammed appropriation, yung tinatawag nating special provisions under the budget, minsan it's the Office of the President, minsan it's the Secretary of Budget, that
Which is
actually
the alter
makes that
ego of the
call.
President.
That makes that call. So, yun. So
hindi, in
the
short,
facts,
is
the executive is also accountable.
Ibig sabihin, the President cannot wash his hands doon sa mga na-release na budget, especially when it comes to unprogrammed funds, kasi hindi ma-release yan without the approval of either the Department of Budget and Management Secretary and with presumably the alter ego of the President himself.
Yes.
Yeah, ako rin kasi ako parang I've seen in a lot of instances na parang light kay President Marcos mismo, pero the mere fact na tama bang the mere fact na na-release yan
Oo.
at sa unprogrammed funds, may co-signal na Malacanang yan.
So, whether by commission or by omission, the executive is accountable.
The executive is accountable, correct. I agree with you. Okay, sige. Nandiyan tayo sa legislation pa lang, no?
Tapos meron pa kasing mga interesting na nangyari dito sa medyo mas maganda tong version. No, the way that we explain this in our radio interviews. If our nation is a body, kung yung bansa natin, kung ang bayan natin ay isang katawan, meron tayong mga cancer na kumakalat sa iba't ibang bahagi ng katawan natin, no? And that is in the form of pork that has grafted itself in many different parts of our body. Yung kailangan natin, magkaroon tayo ng operation para alisin yung mga tumor na yon at magkaroon ng mas maayos na immune system. Kailangan nating palakasin yung immune system natin. Yung what is insidious about the pork ay hindi na lang siya DSWD na ayuda, no? The pork ay soft pork, may hard pork,
Kasi
kailangan
pork yan
infrastructure.
yung discretionary funds.
Oo. Yung tipong, yung kongresista yung may kapangyarihan ng kung magkano at kung sino yung aabutan ng pera.
Di ba executive
Na-
pork din? Yung intelligence
Meron din.
fund daw. Di ba parang
Meron
executive
din.
fund?
So part yan sa tinag namin sa 260 billion.
Okay.
Oo. So, in fact, tinaas pa ng Senate yung confidential and intelligence funds ng 600 million.
Tinaasan pa for this year.
11 billion na siya.
Even after the confidential fund scandal.
Yep. And we know that the confidential and intelligence fund investigations have not yet been concluded. So we need accountability there too. So marami, ang dami.
Dami.
Ito Dino yung nakakalungkot dito. Kasi kapag lumaki yung pork, yung nangyayari sa kultura natin bilang isang bansa ay hindi na yung social services na nakukuha natin, hindi na natin karapatan. Kailangan nating magmakaawa sa mga kongresista. Na hindi dapat.
Kailangan natin magmakaawa at saka kailangan aligned tayo sa kanila.
Oo.
Kasi
kailangan
hindi ka mabibigyan.
boboto tayo sa kanila. Diba?
Or hindi mo sila pwede kontrahin. Hindi ka
Oo.
mabibigyan ng ayuda.
Exactly.
Diba? So,
Hindi
patronage
pwede ganun.
politics.
Dapat may maayos na
Pero nasaan yan? Nasa legislation mo ba yan? Nasa execution na yan? Legislation
both yan,
pa lang,
both.
no?
Pero legislation pa lang kasi, yung nangyari, bawat isang ahensya, meron ng parallel pork structure. Magbibigay ako ng halimbawa. Sa DSWD, merong 4Ps. Yun yung maayos na programa kasi clear kung sino yung bibigyan.
May criteria.
May criteria.
As opposed to doon sa mga ibang ayuda program na depende sa whim, caprice, and arbitrariness noong nagbibigay, nagdidistribute.
Yun yung AIX. Yun
Oo.
yung dating AKAP.
Oo. Tupad. May ganun pa ba?
Tupad na sa DOLE.
Nasa dole. Okay.
Pero we'll get there in a bit. So yung nangyayari nila, they cut the 4Ps budget. They cut the rights-based programs.
Kasi right yun basta ma-prove mo na pasok ka sa criteria, mabibigyan ka.
Oo.
Sa iba, hindi rights-based.
Ito, patronage-based. Diba? So, aakyatin nila to para essentially ma-replace na yung rights-based programs. So, sa social welfare may ganyan. Sa Department of Health, merong ganyan. So, yung PhilHealth budget, they cut it, right? This year, 2025 budget, zero yung budget support for PhilHealth. Diba? Ziniro nila. At nilalagay nila sa tinatawag na MAIFIP, si Medical Assistance to Indigent and Financially Incapacitated Patients.
Na kailangan mo rin mag-go through the congressman and
Correct.
senator, tama ba?
The guarantee letter. Oo. Na actually, pinagbawal na yun dapat ng Korte Suprema.
Talaga?
Yeah.
Oo.
In the PDAF ruling, sinasabi nila na dapat bawal na ang post-enactment intervention of people in Congress.
Okay, so after that legislation, so we've discussed so much, and I'm sure there are still much to be discussed
Marami pa
in
din.
the legislation part, especially when it comes to that pork, no? So definitely, bawasan yung pork because it's discretionary, it's based on political patronage, and nawawala yung rights-based program. So ang advocacy natin is, or at least ang pininiwalaan natin, dapat doon tayo sa rights-based program.
Tama.
Okay. Sige, I got that principle. Dahil dapat may part to siguro ito kung papayag pa si Ken, no? Doon tayo sa execution naman. So we're done with the budget preparation, we're done with the legislation process. Now let's go on to the execution. How do you think should we improve things in the execution part?
Sa execution part,
At least for budget monitoring.
for budget monitoring and procurement monitoring, dapat alam ng mga budget monitors and procurement monitors sa ground kung paano ini-implement yung programa. At maging partners talaga yung gobyerno at yung civil society sa paggawa nito. So, ano yung mga, dito naman sa mga flood control investigations, meron kaming partnership ngayon with the CBCP, yung mga bishops, with the DPWH, with this group called TAPAT, Better Gov PH, na magkakaroon kami ng flood control monitoring of the flood control projects. Tapos yung dioceses yung magiging parang bahay ng mga volunteers to check. So imagine if we had this system noon pa.
Di ba sa Daga, yan yung envision nung council, People's Council. Supposedly,
Naga City People's Council.
Wala pa kasing legislation which was proposed already before na dapat lahat, di ba, by People's Council. So right now, we're relying on the church.
We're relying on the church. Medyo ad hoc yung pagkakagawa natin ngayon. No, pero so yung very important ngayon, they can go to bisto.ph.
Okay.
Bisto.ph. The project is called Bisto Proyekto.
Bisto, as in bibistuhin mo kung mayroong okay.
Bisto also to see, di ba? To see.
Okay. Bisto.ph?
Bisto.ph.
So young people can join there?
Yes.
Okay.
But they have to coordinate with their dioceses.
Okay. That's good. Kasi
because we care about the safety of our volunteers.
At saka proximity is very important as well in accountability. Di ba? Hindi pwedeng, hindi ko na ba alam kung ano yung project, tapos ako yung nag-check na.
So,
diba?
you can search this website, 9,000 plus projects. Pero actually, yung nasa Sumbong sa Pangulo website, sa transparency nung lahat ng flood control projects, we found out that it's actually, incomplete. What's in the Sumbong sa Pangulo website is just more than around 500 to 600 billion pesos yung pinost. But the actual budget of flood control was around 1.2 trillion pesos during that time. So what happened? Where's the rest of the half? Yung kagandahan, kasi nga we have a community of angry nerds, na-release namin yung lahat ng 5.5 million contracts ng PhilJeps since the year 2000. We now have it. It's searchable. We unified all the databases ng Public Works, ng PhilJeps, itong Sumbong sa Pangulo, tsaka yung Project Dime ng DBM. We think we know where the other projects are. So that can also now be included in the monitoring of the church and civil society groups. So yun, very important yun na may monitoring teams.
Yung sa civil society, di ba? Yung sa civil society part. Pero as part of the budget process, right now, dapat may safeguards yung procurement.
Tama.
Yung sinasabi mo, inherently, di ba dapat may resident COA auditor yan? Dapat mag-undergo ka ng bidding process. Pero alam naman natin how bidding is being rigged here.
Yes.
Meron tayong tinatawag na pre-awarded na yan, ipababack off yung mga ibang bidders.
Kasi nga yung contractor yung nag-insert.
Correct.
Sa budget.
Correct.
At sila na
May
dapat
takers
yung
na. Ang
mananalo.
tawag nila dyan, may takers na yan.
Tama.
So, dagi sinasabi sa mga clients ko na bidders, huwag na po kayo, doon na lang po sila kasi may take-up na po yan. Tapos, pag mag-i-insist ka, i-disqualify ka one way or another. Kunyari, yung page mo, walang page number 2, wala naman nakalagay na required yung pagination, di-disqualify ka. Magkita na lang kayo doon sa dulo.
May kilala ako mga contractor na hindi na nanalo kasi hindi sila nagbibigay.
Correct. Ito ka din, marami. Diba? Marami ako mga clients na talagang sinusubukan nila kahit na sila yung lowest bidder at pinaka-quality, diba di-disqualify ka
They find a way to disqualify.
Correct.
So, okay. So, ito yung major problem sa procurement system natin. Na sa tingin ko, kayang masolusyonan din naman. No? So, under the new Government Procurement Act, meron tayong tinatawag na Beneficial Ownership Registry. Sino nga ba talaga yung may-ari ng kumpanya? At may iba pang mga documents na dapat i-release. No? Tulad ng financial statements, mga general information sheets, yung yung statement of campaign expenditures ng mga politiko at statement of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Kasi all of these documents combined, you will be able to come up with a list that bids and awards committees, investigative journalists, and monitors can just check, may conflict of interest ba yung kumpanyang nanalo? Capitalized ba siya? Meaning may pera ba siya to actually absorb billions of pesos of contracts?
May capability ba?
May capability ba siya? Are they financially, legally, and technically eligible to bid? Naalala mo yung formally? No? So, yung formally, yung problema ay...
Siyempre, naalala natin yan.
Yes.
Ganit na naman tayo. Kinagalit mo na naman ako eh.
it was a very new company and it was undercapitalized. No, why didn't the Bids and Awards Committee of the then Procurement Service DBM under Yusek Lau, why did they win? They should have been disqualified.
Ang nakakatawa dyan, yung mga ibang yung ibang mga qualified, yun ang dinidisqualify usually.
Correct. At yun. So imagine if we have a publicly searchable database of conflicts of interest and financial statements na kaya lang ma-check. A 5-second search that would have saved the government 10 billion pesos or more.
Yeah.
With the Formally scandal. So may maraming mga ganyan na pwede tayong gawin, no? In monitoring
The execution. Pero yung
the
sa execution,
of the
ibig sabihin,
programs.
from bidding to actual execution to post-audit, di ba? Dapat makita
Accountability.
natin kung, di ba, ang problema dito sa flood control is yung semento, manipis, or wala naman talaga ang maganda raw kasi sa flood control, pag doon sa river, hindi mo
Hindi mo
alam kung
makikita.
gaano kalalim,
Oo.
kung gaano kalalim yung sementong ginamit, no? So very, very, very tricky. So dapat, paano natin ma-empower yung civil society na makita yung post-audit yung project? Wala naman tayong technical expertise.
So, dalawa yan, no? So, una, kailangan mong maipakita, mabigyan sila ng tools to be able to do it. So, yung example namin, yung volunteer portal namin sa Vista.ph. Tapos yung pangalawa, dapat ma-empower mo yung buong community na mag-agree na ito yung mga imo-monitor natin na project. There's a way to scientifically sample random sample and also risk-based sample na tinatawag ng audit.
Reasonable lang. Hindi naman
Reasonable.
kailangan absolutely
Hindi kailangan lahat.
necessary.
Hindi kailangan lahat.
Absolutely sure, di ba?
Imposible rin eh.
Imposible rin. Oo.
Pero with a proper sampling and with a proper risk-based audit, may kita natin kung ano ba dapat yung mga pinakababantayan natin. Kasi meron na tayong mga red flags.
And yung risk-based audit na sinasabi mong to, tingin mo civil society or dapat kasi
kasama
dapat
tayo
ginagawa
doon.
to ng di ba, COA?
Dapat ginagawa rin yan ng COA. So dapat lahat nga. So the auditors, the civil society, the church, and the executive should all come together to monitor these projects and agree on what to monitor. So yung problema pang isa, kapag ginagawa mo rin naman yung monitoring, hindi readily available or searchable yung mga detailed documents like the detailed engineering design, yung detailed unit price analysis na magkapakita ng kung magkano yung presyo ng semento.
Sobrang overpriced ng kako, mga ganyan.
Mga ganyan. So, hindi yan readily available. So
buti na lang, tayo, infrastructure tayo, mag-office mate tayo. Alam natin ba, DED, Detailed Engineering Design.
dapat disclosed na yan. Pero nung tinanong ko yung investigative journalists kung ano yung experience nila monitoring projects, ito yung sinabi nila. Halimbawa, si Dwight De Leon at si Casey Valmonte of Rappler, who broke the story on Zaldico.
The Zaldicos.
Yeah, Zaldico. They needed to spend 30,000 pesos to get the SEC document.
Correct.
Because Zaldico has so many related companies.
Yeah.
So, parang it shouldn't be that difficult. No, we should make it easy for
Personal money yun.
for our
Civil
sa
society.
Rappler naman, I think they have a fund.
At least they have a fund. Pero para sa ating civil society,
Diba?
kung tayo yung mag-iimbestiga, personal money natin yun.
Oo nga. Oo. So, why is it so hard? Tapos, bakit ba parang pahirapan minsan kumuha ng dokumento? Bakit kapag nag-search sila sa DPWH website, hindi nila, ang hirap-hirap niyang gawin. No?
So to begin
Ang
with,
hirap-hirap
dapat
niyang
proactive disclosure nga.
Proactive
Ibig sabihin, readily accessible sa atin. Without even us asking.
Yes.
Diba? Without even us asking. Kasi ganyan ang proseso na iba-block pa yung Freedom of Information request mo, meron kang Freedom of Information Executive Order. Pag nag-FOI ka, maghanap yan ng reason kung bakit hindi nila i-disclose.
Tatago nila yan.
Itatago nila yan.
Itatago nila yan.
Yung the mere mechanical act of typing a request FOI, law office kami it takes some time.
Exactly.
Oo.
I know for a fact that it's just in a computer somewhere.
Mhm.
Kailangan lang gawin ng DPWH. i-disclose yan lahat. Mukha namang open si Sec Vince. No?
Pero hindi na dapat sa
SEC,
DPWH kasi meron sa lahat ng agencies.
Maraming ang agencies. Sa SEC, di ba? SEC just collects 600 plus million in fees and charges every year. Compare that to the trillion pesos that we could save.
Yeah.
Diba? We should make it free and open.
Correct. Not free and open. I agree.
We should make it free and open and searchable.
Okay, so execution tayo. Now, sa accountability, di ba? I saw it in your suggestion that we have to empower the independent commission. Alam na natin yan, di ba? That has already been discussed. Nag-create na ng special court. Actually, hindi ba special court, but designated trial courts exclusively for this para ginawa nila sa ampatuan. Ang pwede kong ma-share dito, at least the way I was thinking is, actually, mas mahirap yung case building eh. Di ba? Yung case building part, ibig sabihin, pwedeng gumawa yung judiciary ng special court, pwedeng may independent commission talaga na truly independent. Pero paano yung usual case building natin? At least for me as a practitioner, ang mahirap is, meron bang skill set yung mga investigating authorities natin to get to case build, to get the sufficient documents. No? In other words, for example, even our intelligence communities don't talk to each other so much when it comes to possible crimes, possible high magnitude, ganitong flood control scandal. Di ba dapat na-flag na ito ng mga intelligence agencies natin or even yung agencies natin na nag-iimbestiga plus civil society. So kayo, naturally ba kinokonsulta kayo ng Office of the Ombudsman, the Department of Justice, or kayo nagsasabit sa kanila? Di ba dapat may natural prompts na kasi kayo yung may capability right now to at least do a sampling na sinasabi mo kanina. Nakukuha ba yung datos na yan ng ating prosecutorial agencies?
Yeah, we share some of our, kasi nga unified database, it requires considerable skill to combine all the data sets. Pero nagawa na. Nagawa na. So 15 trillion pesos worth of government projects now available online for anyone to see. And it's searchable.
Ginagamit na ba ng DOJ?
Kakakalabas lang namin 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Pero
na-forward na sa kanila?
Yeah. Pinadala na namin.
Okay.
So, yun. So, that database not only has the contracts, it also is able to tag kung ano yung linked to the congressman and linked
Galing naman nito. Tapos
link
community of nerds lang to. Walang ginasa sa gobyerno
link
dito.
to the district. Wala. They just needed to proactively disclose the data.
Okay.
And the community is doing its part. No, so napadala na namin yung mga ano na yun. Even yung Sal and Tracker pinakita din namin doon. Pero I think dito ako mas walang visibility dito kasi hindi ako lawyer. No, I don't know what it takes to build a good case.
A case, oo.
What I am very very saddened about is even the corruption issues and cases that have been filed before are just dismissed.
Dismiss talaga. Ito kasi ginagawa nila
Na-acquit. Diba? So,
walang proper witness handling. Hindi nila kahit na makita nilang there's something wrong with the project, hindi nila matag diretso na kinuha ng congressman, di ba? Or ng senator, or yung nilagyan. So tapos usually, ang dali kasi, kukomprima mo lang yung witness. So, ibig sabihin, tatakutin ba yung witness, di ba? So, yun yung part na yun. No? So, I think there has to be a mechanism as well to make sure that our investigators, our prosecutorial agencies have the capability to case build properly and at the same time have the resources to manage the witnesses, to make sure that kasi yung kalaban mo, nakulumbat ng bilyon eh. Ibig sabihin, mag-allocate a certain amount to nakulumbat nila to defend themselves. So, ibig sabihin, dapat yung Estado, meron din talaga sufficient resources to make sure that they would be able to match the resources that the other side is willing to use, di ba? Ibig sabihin, kailangan protektado rin yung mga witnesses. Hindi ganun kadali eh. So the case building, I think, is very integral in the accountability.
The case building and also monitoring the status of these cases. Si Kong Chel, in one of his interviews I was watching, meron daw ibang cases sa Sandigan Bayan na 40 years old na raw. Ako, bakit
Marami.
pa yun?
Hindi lang isa, marami.
So, hindi ko alam. So, is there a case tracker of everything that's in the Sandigan Bayan? I think, di ba?
Not just in Sandigan Bayan, overall. Wala.
Parts, di ba? We have to build something very similar, I think, for a judiciary system. The way that we're trying to build it for our EDCOM, diba, sa education system. So that ecosystem of research, proactive disclosure, the building of the academic and investigative journalism tracks. That ecosystem also has to exist for the judiciary kasi the only way to prevent corruption and to restore public trust in institutions and to deliver public services is through transparency, participation, and accountability.
And siguro as a lawyer, hindi na dapat nating isipin na the judiciary is exempt from such kind of people's participation.
we pay the judiciary taxes that
Correct.
we work on.
Kasi sinasabi kasi nila dyan, di ba, the judiciary for it to be able to dispense justice properly should not suffer from undue pressure. Yan ang laging defense eh. Di ba, parang kasi nape-pressure ako doon sa mga nanonood sa akin pero dapat hindi. It's largely debatable.
But they're also covered by the Code of Ethics.
Correct.
Diba?
Oo. Tsaka dapat
Of
meron
public
namang
servants.
limitations yan eh. Meron naman talagang limit. Dapat ka, di ba, well-trained judge ka na hindi ka dapat nagpapasubmit sa public pressure lang but rather the rules of evidence.
Right.
Pero in terms of people watching you, hindi ka dapat allergic kasi public official ka eh.
You're a public official.
Yeah. So I agree na dapat the same ecosystem should be included in the judiciary. Woo! Grabe. So ando pala tayo sa preparation, legislation,
dito.
execution, accountability. Ang dami pang kailangang i-discuss. I hope that you would be able to come back one day.
Oo.
Well, or more regularly. Watch out for that. But definitely any last words that you would want our viewers to take, diba? Or to get from you.
Siguro, inaanyahan ko po lahat na sumali sa Trillion Peso March this November 30.
Lalabas dapat to bago mag trillion peso March.
Tapos, pangalawa, mahalaga po na tingnan natin yung kumbaga, let's exercise our rights as citizens of the Republic. We have the right and responsibility to engage in every step of the budget process. At kailangan po natin sa panahon ngayon na ang lalala ng cancer ng korupsyon sa ating bayan, kailangan nating palakasin yung ating resistensya, our immune system. And we are the immune system. We, civil society, media, that can help shape the health of our nation as a body. I think yun yung una kong gustong sabihin. Yung pangalawa kong gustong sabihin ay there's also this really interesting set of critiques about the anti-corruption movement. No, the critique is around we are campaigning against something which is corruption, and I think it's a very fair critique to say. So what are we campaigning for, diba? And I think it's time to now, especially now that the political window is open, we are questioning a lot of things about our government systems, about the way that we design our public services. We should have more conversations about what the new social contract will be like. Diba? Ano ba yung bagong social protection system natin? Maayos ba? Kumusta ba yung health system natin? Maayos ba? How are we generating new jobs for our people? Diba? Kasi with the advent of AI, diba, posible bang nawawalan na ng trabaho yung ating BPO industry na have been keeping us afloat? Diba? Will we continue to be dependent on the remittances that we receive from abroad? Diba?
Mm-hmm.
So those are, I think, the types of conversations that we should have. I think we should dream bigger. I think we should have more bolder proposals as an alternative for alternative set of policies beyond the anti-corruption movement. Kasi we are removing the pork, diba? But what will we allocate it towards?
Correct.
Diba? We have a lot of proposals in the People's Budget Coalition. Pero sa tingin namin, hindi siya exclusive lang to the social protection programs. Dapat kahit the way that we promote tourism, the way that we promote kasi we have so much skill. I think the beauty of being engaged in these movements is we get to see the best in Filipinos. Volunteers all over the world saying we care. People I've never worked with now developing siguro mga 15 community tools and websites to support investigative journalism.
Yeah.
So ako, Filipinos have so much to offer, but we have to harness that energy, the energy of the movements, to be able to build a better country.
Wow. Sana marami tayong mga katulad ni Ken Abante na hindi napapagod at hindi lagi nagvo-volunteer para sa Pilipinas. No? But thank you very much for what you do. And I hope that you would be able to sustain the movement. And we're so inspired. And just let us know how we can help. Dito po nagtatapos, at least ang current episode ng Let's Talk Policy. Catch us again next time. Hopefully, we would be able to go more in-depth dun sa education, which is what we're trying to do as our next episode. But for now, see you next time.